Okay, so let me read this question to you. We're going to evaluate this. It says, negative 6.02, take away 2 times negative 6.71, plus 2.3 to the power of 3. BEDMAS. First thing we need to do. Do we have anything to simplify inside a bracket? No, we don't have anything you could do inside a bracket. Do we have exponents? Yes. So we're going to do that first. What's the base, a positive or negative? It's a positive. So your answer, when you simplify this, will be a positive. So let's rewrite this. Negative 6.02, take away 2 times the negative 6.71, plus, what is 2.3 to the power of 3? Okay, so if you multiply 2.3 by itself 3 times, you get 12.167. Don't round it. Now what? What's the next step? Look at the operations. We have take away and we have add. And what does this mean when you have a bracket? Multiply. So what's next? Do we have division? Do we have multiplication? Yes. So we need to do that next. So we have negative 6.02. Take away. There's 2 ways you could do this. We're taking away 2 times negative 6.71. Ignoring this takeaway, this 2 is a positive, and we're multiplying it by a negative, so what will your answer be?
Negative.
We have a positive 2 times a negative, we'll get a negative. The next step is different, but what's 2 times 6.71? 13.42. We're good so far? Then we have plus 12.167. Now, we are taking away a negative. So what happens when you're taking away a negative? You have 2 negatives, it becomes positive. So you could have skipped this step here and just saw that there was a negative and a negative, so it's going to end up being positive. That's fine. But now we have negative 6.02 plus 13.42 plus 12.167. So now we're just going to simplify in the order it appears. Negative 6.02 plus 13.42. So that's 7.4. And then we still have to add the 12.167 plus 12.167. What do you got? Final answer? 19.567. That's your final answer. Okay, so whenever you have a negative base and a power, if the exponent is even, the answer will always be positive, right? 2 negatives make a positive. And if the base is negative, if the exponent is an odd number, the answer will always be negative. The answer will always be negative, okay? That was just a quick little recap. This question says negative 2 1/10 plus 2 3/5, take away 3 1/4, all of that to the power of 3. So what do we need to start with? Yes, we need to simplify what's inside the bracket. So what's the first thing we should do when we're subtracting fractions? Yes? Pardon? Make them into improper fractions. So since we're turning these into improper fractions, we might as well do it with this one as well, the first one. So negative 2 1/10. Good. 2 times 10 plus 1 is equal to 21 over 10. And it's a negative. Remember, we put the negative sign after. We don't do 2 times, so we don't do 10 times negative 2. It's just 10 times 2. You apply the negative after. This tells me it's a negative fraction. Plus, let's rewrite these fractions into improper. Tony, good? 13 over 5, take away 13 over 4. How do I subtract fractions? What do we need to do to find the lowest common denominator? 5 times 4 and 4 times. So I have to multiply the numerators by the same number as the denominator. So I want you to rewrite these fractions with common denominators. Negative 21 over 10. We haven't done anything with that. Plus, so the lowest common denominator is 12. 13 times 4. over, oops. Oh, sorry, not 12. The lowest common denominator is 20. Oh my goodness. 20. So it would be 52 over 20. Take away, what's 13 times 5? 65 over 20. And it's all of that to the power of 3. Again, I still haven't done anything with this. But now I'm going to simplify it in this bracket. 52 take away 65 is equal to what? Negative 13 over 20. All of that to the power of 3. What does that mean? Negative 13 over 20 to the power of 3. What does that mean? How would you simplify that? Okay, so now we know what this is equal to. So we're going to keep negative 21 over 10 plus, what was it? Negative 2,197? Is that what it was? Divided by 8,000. Okay, you see what I've done there? I've just simplified my exponents, my power. Now what? I'm just adding two fractions together. I'm adding negative 21 over 10 plus negative 2,197 over 8,000. These are big numbers. I need a common denominator. What's the common denominator? Sorry? 10 times 800. Yeah, it would be 8,000. Multiply this by 800 and multiply this by 800. So I'm going to rewrite it here. I'll just put it up here. So what's 21 times 800? So it'd be negative 16,800 over 8,000 plus a negative. So we can just write take away 2,197 over 8,000. And now we are going to solve this. What is this? Take away that. Negative 18,997 over 8,000. Okay, so it goes into that 2 times with 2,997 left over. Is the answer positive or negative? Negative, because there was a negative here. Okay, so that's the final answer. So negative 13 over 20 to the power of 3. When you have a power, the exponent tells you how many times to write the base, right? If I had 5 to the power of 3, what was that? What does that mean? 5 times 5 times 5. If I had 10 to the power of 2, what does that mean? 10 times 10. If I have negative 13 over 20 to the power of 3, what does that mean? Negative 13 over 20 times negative 13 over 20 times negative 13 over 20. It's everything to the power of 3. So another way you could rewrite this is negative 13 to the power of 3, right? You're multiplying it by itself 3 times. And 20 to the power of 3. You're multiplying it by itself 3 times. So what is, well, first of all, we have a negative base and an odd exponent. What is the answer going to be? Negative, right? You have a negative base and an odd exponent. It's going to be negative because we can see here a negative times a negative is a positive, but then when you multiply it by a negative, you're going to get a negative, right? So what is 13 to the power of 3? What's 13 times 13 times 13? Do it now. Okay, so we get 2,197. And what is 20 to the power of 3? Okay, 8,000. That is the answer. You could have done 13 to the power of 3 and 20 to the power of 3 on your calculator as well.